The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for Tuesday, February 3rd, reveal that Electra Forrester Finnegan and Will Spencer will get a shock. Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp will also make a vow. So let's talk about what's ahead on Tuesday's B&B episode. For starters, Taylor may call Deacon and interrupt his attempt to break things off with Sheila Sharp. Sheila will be left in the dark on Deacon and Taylor's romance for now, but things are about to get more complicated. Steffi Forrester Finnegan is threatening to cut Taylor out of their family if she continues seeing Deacon. Taylor doesn't want to lose Steffi and her grandchildren, but she doesn't want to lose Deacon either. Once Taylor meets up with Deacon to explain the situation, he'll wonder how they're supposed to walk away considering how they feel about each other. In the end, Deacon and Taylor will promise that they'll be together somehow. It may take some time to figure out a way forward as a couple, but Taylor and Deacon won't give up. Until then, Taylor and Deacon are bound to sneak in some romantic moments here and there. Even if Deacon and Taylor try to avoid each other, their magnetic pull is sure to be too strong to resist. At Forrester Creations, RJ Forrester will let Carter Walton see some new designs that he's been working on. Carter may be impressed and agree with Brooke Logan Forrester about RJ needing to team up with Ridge Forrester on couture. At some point, RJ will smack right into Dylan during her visit to the Forrester office. Dylan and RJ will seem intrigued as they exchange introductions, so we'll see if this new connection could lead to a romance or perhaps a scheming collaboration. Regardless, Ivy Forrester is counting on Dylan to pretend she got a job out of town and deliver the news to Electra as well as Will. B&B spoilers say Will and Electra will get some surprising updates, so will Dylan do what Ivy's demanding and sell her bogus story? Of course, Sydney Bullock is on contract and will remain part of the action, so some twists and turns are on the way. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Dylan will ultimately stick around Los Angeles, so maybe RJ could have something to do with that. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester is really the voice of reason as she warns Taylor that any connection to Deacon Sharp puts her directly in Sheila's sight. It's a moment fans have been waiting for. Steffi finally calls out the blatant absurdity of her mother's current choices. While Taylor seems to be wandering through a haze of loneliness, Steffi is stone-cold sober regarding the reality of their family dynamic. It takes everything I have not to yell at the screen, "You've been shot by Sheila! You know what you're talking about!" We all know the drill by now. Ridge waffles back to Brooke, and Taylor is left holding the bag, looking for any port in a storm. But choosing Deacon's port? That's not just a bad decision, it's a death wish. Steffi isn't mincing words, and she shouldn't. She's seen enough of Sheila Carter to know that the woman is a human landmine. You don't trifle with Sheila, and you certainly don't go sniffing around her husband if you value your safety or your life. She's as crazy as a donkey on a trike. Taylor is clearly desperate for a connection. After years of being Ridge's other option, she has a void to fill, but Deacon is married to the very woman who nearly ended Steffi and Finn's lives. Steffi's ultimatum on February 2nd was clear. Taylor needs to choose between this bizarre relationship with Deacon and her actual family. There is no middle ground when Sheila Carter is involved. It's just no man's land. If Taylor is truly this starved for interaction, maybe it's time she looks outside of Los Angeles. A change of scenery might do her some good. She could easily take a trip over to Beyond the Gates and spend some quality time on Nicole's couch. A session with Dr. Nicole Dupree might actually help her figure out why she thinks poking the Sheila-shaped bear is a productive use of her time. For once, Steffi is the one making total sense. She's lived through the trauma Sheila inflicts, and she recognizes that Deacon, no matter how much he claims to be a changed man, is the gateway to Sheila's obsession. Taylor's defense of Deacon as a friend who understands her falls flat when you consider the collateral damage. Steffi is rightfully forcing her mother to face the music before the melody turns into a funeral march. In the world of the Forresters, logic is often a rare commodity, but Steffi is hoarding it all right now. She knows that Sheila is always watching, and Taylor's proximity to Deacon is giving the villainess exactly the opening she needs to strike again. Taylor needs her head read if she thinks this ends well. Until she wakes up, Steffi is the only thing standing between the Forresters and another Sheila-induced catastrophe. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers hint that 5 February story developments are on the way, so some can't-miss moments are ahead. Let's talk about how the drama will heat up as some big events and complex romances take center stage. 1. Will and Electra's relationship starts to crumble. For starters, Electra Forrester and Will Spencer's relationship will be put to the test. Will and Electra could fail that test if they aren't careful, since B&B spoilers indicate that their romance will take some major hits. 2. Steffi hosts Bachelorette Bash for Daphne. On a happier note, Steffi Forrester Finnegan will fulfill her matron of honor duties and host an amazing bachelorette party for Daphne Rose. It's sure to be an event to remember, but will there be any drama before the marriage ceremony? 3. Carter and Daphne's wedding day arrives. No matter what last-minute snags might arise, Daphne and Carter Walton are indeed going to tie the knot. Daphne and Carter will hold their wedding in the Forrester showroom as they pledge to love each other forever, or at least as long as forever lasts on a soap. 4. RJ's messy love life. Next, RJ Forrester's own love life could get messy. Electra's problems with Will could make it easy for RJ to comfort Electra and pursue her romantically. However, we have to consider RJ's connection to Dylan as well. Will RJ develop feelings for Dylan, or perhaps conspire with her as she goes after Will? Either way, RJ's love life is bound to get complicated, so stick with us for updates on any news regarding his romantic future. 5. Daphne and Carter's baby-making mission begins. Soon after Carter and Daphne become husband and wife, they'll begin their baby-making mission. Daphne and Carter will be eager to start their family as soon as possible, so they'll make that a priority after their nuptials. Unfortunately, that's when Carter and Daphne could face their first real bump in the road as a married couple. If some infertility issues are on the horizon, that may bring a new challenge for Daphne and Carter to tackle together. The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers say fans will see plenty of excitement this February and beyond, so stay tuned. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal Hope Logan forgot just how petty her rival Steffi Forrester really can be. Hope and Queen Steffi have managed to keep the peace for nearly a year, but the ceasefire is coming to an abrupt end on the CBS soap. How far will Steffi go to make Hope stop meddling in their parents' affair? Here's what's coming up next on The Bold and the Beautiful. Keep reading for all the details. Steffi Forrester has forbidden Taylor Hayes from seeing her patient lover, Deacon Sharp. Steffi knows Sheila Carter could hurt her mom when the truth comes out. So, imagine Steffi's surprise when she finds out Hope Logan went behind her back and encouraged Taylor to hook up with Deacon. The claws are coming back out. According to B&B spoilers, Hope is going to find herself in a familiar position on the CBS soap. At the end of the day, Forrester Creations basically has the fate of her company, Hope for the Future, in their hands. If Steffi Forrester wants to hit Hope where it hurts, she can shut down HFTF. Steffi seems to be losing her cool over Taylor and Deacon. She might just be mad enough to fire Hope from Forrester Creations altogether. Considering the fact that she just married a Spencer, the Forresters might let Steffi send her packing this time. Hope Logan has poured her heart and soul into HFTF over the past decade. She had to fight tooth and nail to get the Forrester family to even consider reviving her line, and Carter Walton had to do some creative accounting to keep her afloat. Hope wants her father leave Sheila Carter, but is his relationship really worth losing HFTF? Will Steffi put her foot on Hope's neck and threaten to oust her from Forrester Creations if she doesn't back off? Eric Forrester and Katie Spencer will have another clandestine meeting next week on The Bold and the Beautiful. Katie is on cloud nine that she nabbed the Eric Forrester as her lead designer, but the bliss is set to come to an abrupt end when the truth comes out. Has Ridge's father crossed a line that he can't come back from? Keep reading to find out. Here's what's coming up next week on B&B. Spoilers down below. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers show Eric Forrester will wow his new boss with some more of his collection, the same collection that he was trying to get his son Ridge Forrester to launch. Rather than supporting his dad's new showstopper, Ridge told him to go home and threw him a retirement party. The bitter patriarch's feelings were hurt, and he has been on a mission ever since to prove his son wrong. Soap viewers can't wait for Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan to find out what the patriarch has been up to. Ridge is going to be shocked that his father went this far to get one up on him, and is now working for the enemy. Ridge will be even more appalled that Eric is willing to put his own family out of business just to prove that he's still got it. Come to think about it, Ridge's father might have taken things too far. Eric Forrester wants to get even with Ridge, but when the truth comes out and he realizes what he did, he could have a change of heart. Right now, Eric and Katie are having a blast because no one knows about their new alliance. When Ridge's father has to face his family after the truth comes out, he might start having a guilty conscience. Imagine how screwed Katie Spencer would be if Ridge convinced his father to pull his collection from Logan at the last minute. She's building her entire launch around Eric Forrester's designs. Do you think that Eric took his payback too far? The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal there are 3 must-see moments for the week of February 2nd, 2026. Fans can expect Dylan to have a chance meeting. Liam Spencer finds out a secret. Plus, Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes decide they want to be together. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Dylan. Ivy Forrester has just thrown some money at the girl, ordering her to leave Los Angeles. Dylan knows that she can't win. If Ivy tells Electra Forrester what she saw, that friendship will be over. Even though it was an accident, Ivy thinks it was intentional. When Electra gets back into town, she gets a visit at work from Dylan. Both Electra and Will Spencer are thrown that Dylan is leaving town. Electra might be a bit relieved, but could also be wondering why the sudden change. When Dylan walks out into the hallway at Forrester Creations, she literally bumps into RJ Forrester. When they look at each other, sparks fly. It actually reminds me of the first time that Will and Electra saw each other. RJ introduces himself and clarifies that he's Steffi Forrester Finnegan's brother. So, meeting RJ could complicate Dylan's exit plan. It could also infuriate Ivy if she finds out that Dylan is still in town. The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that another must-see moment has to do with Taylor and Deacon. Despite the risks, Taylor has decided that Deacon is the man she wants. Deacon feels the same way about her and plans on ending his marriage. However, it would be nice if Deacon would actually get honest with Sheila Carter Sharp. It's cruel that Deacon keeps stringing her along like that. It will also make the pain and fallout worse when she finally does learn the truth. However, when Taylor and Deacon make their decision, Steffi totally freaks out. Steffi starts talking to her mother like she's a defiant toddler. The co-CEO orders her mother to stop associating with Deacon. If Taylor refuses, then she will lose Steffi and the grandkids. That's a pretty big threat, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of February 2nd, 2026? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. On the February 2nd, 2026 episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, Ivy urged Dylan to leave town as soon as possible. Will and Electra reunited. Deacon tried to end things with Sheila, and Steffi gave Taylor a shocking ultimatum. Deacon called Taylor from Il Giardino, and he demanded to see her as soon as possible. Neither slept a wink the night before after declaring their love for each other. Despite the complications in their path toward a real future, Deacon had no regrets, and he still planned to end his marriage to Sheila. Deacon was left out of important family functions because of who he was married to. Regardless of any changes made by Sheila, Deacon needed to get out of that relationship to improve his standing with his loved ones. Deacon hung up the phone, and Sheila walked into the restaurant, still unaware of how close her husband and therapist had become. As Sheila hacked away at fish in the restaurant, Deacon tried to get her attention so they could have a serious conversation. Deacon explained that he'd been thinking about their relationship and appreciated how they'd always maintained strong communication. Before he could dive into the reason for their discussion, Sheila reverted to her high praise for Taylor. No boundary put in place prevented her from attributing the success of her marriage to her husband's inevitable mistress. Deacon told Sheila that they entered each other's lives at the correct time. She agreed because Deacon's love and support led her to change her life for the better. Sheila left her criminal past behind to become the kind of woman Deacon could see a real future with. Deacon distanced himself from the narrative surrounding why Sheila changed. Much like Taylor, Deacon didn't want to accept the credit. Sheila recognized that something was going on by the look on her husband's face, and she asked for the truth. Deacon laid out the reasons he appreciated Sheila, but she wanted him to get straight to the point. She asked, "What do you really want to tell me, Deacon?" Steffi returned home, and Taylor was hopeful that they'd had to have a few moments to themselves. Steffi noticed the petrified look on her mother's face, and Taylor declared that her daughter needed to know something. Taylor paced the room, which only furthered Steffi's anxieties. At first, Steffi thought that Taylor dropped Deacon from her life entirely. However, the more Taylor opened up about her feelings for Deacon, the clearer the picture became. Deacon and Taylor couldn't contain their emotions any longer. She wanted a life with him, but Steffi again asserted that it could not happen. Steffi didn't believe that Sheila would simply accept the divorce and move on with her life. This was the same woman who shot both of them in the past, so Steffi was concerned for everyone's safety. Steffi asked Taylor why she'd do this and put everyone's well-being in jeopardy. Taylor tried to compare her situation to Finn's, but Steffi shut that down quickly. Steffi reminded her mother that she forced Finn to cut his birth mother out of his life to keep everyone safe. In her eyes, it needed to be done, and she was prepared to do the same to Taylor. Steffi stopped mincing words and finally put it all out there for Taylor to digest. After discussing how violent Sheila was and the danger she posed to everyone, she ripped into Taylor and gave the ultimate ultimatum. Steffi told Taylor, "I will cut you out of our family if you get involved with Deacon." Taylor pleaded with Steffi to reconsider, but Steffi reached a breaking point. Taylor stood to lose not only Steffi, but also her grandchildren if she continued pursuing a relationship with Deacon. Finn retrieved Hayes from Will's house, and he appreciated how they dropped everything to look after his son. Hayes immediately asked if he could stay over again. Before Finn and Hayes left, Dylan reminded the young boy how awesome he was and how much spending time with him meant to her. Once Hayes was gone, Will told Dylan that he'd see her later because he wanted to surprise Electra at Forrester. Electra returned to Forrester after her business trip, and Ivy wanted to hear every detail. Ivy praised Electra for her performance on the business trip, something that impressed Steffi and the powers that be at Forrester. Will popped in sometime after Ivy left and surprised Electra with flowers. Despite the significant amount of drama surrounding it, Will remarked that they'd only been apart for a single night. Ivy barged into Dylan's bedroom and wondered why the formerly homeless art teacher hadn't skipped town yet. Dylan again tried to defend herself to Ivy, but it was pointless. Ivy accused Dylan of breaking the rules and declared it was time to pay the price. Dylan may not believe that she crossed a line, but Ivy was relentless and wouldn't be satisfied until she danced her way out of Los Angeles. Ivy and Dylan had vastly different interpretations about what occurred the previous evening. Ivy was offended that Dylan stood in front of Will in her bikini instead of retreating to her bedroom. It was far from proper behavior. Ivy promised that she'd tell Electra what happened, so she can either let that happen or leave town immediately. Electra called Dylan during the conversation, and she thanked her friend for helping Will with Hayes. Dylan claimed to have good news, and Electra invited her to the office to deliver it in person. Ivy advised Dylan to put on the performance of a lifetime and go into detail about how she planned to leave town and never return. The biggest crossroads of Dylan's life stood before her, and one wrong move could blow up everything. The Bold and the Beautiful recap for Monday, February 2nd, teases that Eric Forrester has a surprise and makes Katie Logan Spencer and Bill Spencer seal their lips about it. With Eric as her lead designer at Logan, she can relax about the competition. She trusts him and knows what he's capable of. He founded FC after all. That said, Katie is blown away when Eric shares his new designs with her. When Eric shows her his sketches, Katie is almost speechless. She knows his value, unlike his ungrateful son, Ridge Forrester. Happily, Katie admits that their vision for Logan matches. For his part, Eric is happy to be of service, and of course wants to prove he is still the Lion King of the design world. Eric is so happy, however, that we have to wonder if the other shoe is going to drop. So much happiness and agreement on soaps is rare, and Katie may yet regret hiring such a powerful man to influence her company. Of course, once the word gets out, they both will have to deal with the haterade sure to come their way from Forrester Creations. For now, Eric wants the world not to know his secret, and Katie and Bill accommodate him, as does his wife Donna Logan. But secret keeping is a risky business, and once Ridge and Brooke Logan Forrester find out what's going down, they will feel betrayed. Pot, meet kettle. Elsewhere, Dylan considers proper Ivy Forrester's ultimatum. The upstanding Ivy wants Dylan to take a cash out and leave town, or she'll tell Electra Forrester that she saw inappropriateness at the beach house. Dylan has a big decision to make, and in the meantime, she will meet handsome and talented RJ Forrester at Forrester Creations. Spicy the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers indicate that eventually, RJ, Dylan, Electra, and Will Spencer form a love quad, so we expect the sizzle to come to LA just in time for February sweeps. Do you think Ivy is being mean or just a concerned aunt? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with the Bold and the Beautiful right now.